Welcome to the Calculus 3 AI and CAS component. Today will be the third and final lecture of the series, which will focus on comparing, contrasting, and debugging LLM outputs and analyzing their accuracy. The goal of this lecture is to learn how to critically evaluate LLM-generated solutions. In this lecture, you will learn how to compare and contrast the outputs from different LLM models, how to analyze the outputs for accuracy, how to debug the outputs for potential errors, and how to use CAS to compare the accuracy of the LLM outputs. Remember that LLMs do have limitations, especially with respect to calculus and math in general. They lack the computational capabilities. LLMs predict responses based on patterns in data rather than deriving results from actual mathematic principles. They don't actually perform calculations or solve equations numerically or generate graphs. They lack the ability for rigorous proofs. They generate plausible but often incorrect justifications rather than anything pulled strictly from mathematical proofs. They lack step-by-step logic. Unlike CAS tools, LLMs may skip, misorder, or inconsistently justify steps. They're susceptible to errors. They can confidently produce incorrect solutions. There's an inability to verify the solutions through themselves. They don't internally compute or check correctness, unlike the dedicated CAS tools. And they can be inconsistent across sessions. Their responses can vary, making reproducibility and logical consistency a challenge. Now, we'll explore how to compare outputs from different models, evaluate their accuracy, and debug errors using an example problem. We will compare three responses from three different large language models to the same prompt. The three models that we will be looking at are ChatGPT, Claude, and Copilot. All are free, but there are also many other models that you can use. So we will consider the following problem. We want to calculate the surface integral of our function g of x, y, and z over the part of the paraboloid z equals 9 minus x squared minus y squared that is lying above the xy plane. So this is the problem in which we format a prompt to ask ChatGPT, Claude, and Copilot. The first model output we will look at is from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT provides steps for us. The first step is to work with the surface integral formula. So it gives us what the surface integral of a scalar function is, how the surface element ds can be expressed, and what that integral becomes in general. Then it moves on to specific parts of the problem, so computing the partial derivatives of the surface z, and then writing the expression for the surface element, and then writing the integral in terms of x and y. It continues to project the surface onto the xy plane, and it switches to polar coordinates for symmetry, and thus also changing the limits of integration. After rewriting the integral in polar coordinates, we end up with a different integral here. Then it simplifies and separates the integral, evaluates the first integral with respect to theta, resulting in this, and then evaluates the radial integral, in which we end up with this expression. Now the final step is to solve the integral, and it states numerically if necessary. So the computational tool or approximation that ChatGPT uses to do the approximation gives us an integral value of 108.045 pi. So this is our final answer from ChatGPT. So overall, those steps seemed pretty clear, straightforward, with a decent amount of explanation. We'll come back to the accuracy of the stuff in a bit. But let's next look at the second model. The second model we will look at is the output from Claude. So Claude starts out by noting that the surface of the paraboloid is what we are given, and that we will use this surface integral formula, which looks the same as what ChatGPT had. It calculates the same partial derivatives and substitutes into the surface area element. And then our function g of x, y, z is this, with the surface area element being here. It also projects onto the surface of the xy plane and adjusts the boundaries based on that. So it also converts to polar coordinates in order to have different boundaries here, and it turns this into this integral with respect to r and theta instead of x and y. Both this integral, the double integral here, and the transformed integral here match the same expressions that ChatGPT gave us. Claude continues by integrating with respect to theta, and then it identifies that the integral is complex, and it uses a CAS, or advanced integration techniques, to obtain the result. And the surface integral that Claude tells us is 297 pi over 8. Almost everything up until now was basically the same as ChatGPT. However, the final answer is not the same. The third and final model output that we will look at is from Copilot. Copilot defines the surface and the function as the first step. It parameterizes the surface and computes the partial derivatives as well. Then it computes the normal vector and the magnitude of the normal vector, and that gives us the expression for the surface area part. So we have the surface integral here, and the dA is what will be substituted with for the normal vector's magnitude. It also converts to polar coordinates, and then it sets up the integral in polar coordinates, and this is the same integral with the same bounds and expression as the previous two outputs. It evaluates the integral with respect to r, and then with respect to theta, and then it goes through the evaluation of that integral, the inner integral and the outer integral, and performs the calculations. And thus, the output for Copilot is 268.61. Again, the steps were very similar, and the expressions, the integrals, and the conversion to polar coordinates, all the same. However, we have a third different final answer. So if we compare all of the final answers, we have that they are all different. We have no idea if any of them are actually correct. One could be correct and two could be wrong, or all three of them could be incorrect. We don't know right now. We can use Wolfram Alpha to determine the accuracy of these outputs, but before that, we're going to look at the outputs themselves and see if we can notice anything about the three different processes. So if we summarize the steps that all three outputs gave us, we can compare the process and the steps. So ChatGPT starts with the surface integral formula, computes the partial derivatives, rewrites the integral in terms of x and y, projects the surface onto the xy plane, and rewrites the integral in polar coordinates. And then it simplifies, separates, and evaluates the radical, and then solves the integral numerically. So for Claude, it starts with the surface integral, calculates the partial derivatives, substitutes in the surface area element. The domain is the projection of the surface onto the xy plane, and it sets up the double integral and uses polar coordinates. And then it goes through the process of integrating and uses a computer algebra system for that. And Copilot as well defines the surface and the function, parameterizes the surface, computes the partial derivatives, normal vector, magnitude of the normal vector, sets up the surface integral, converts to polar coordinates, and then evaluates the integral. All of the models give the same general steps with various levels of explanation and clarity. All of them basically start with setting up the surface integral formula, whether they give it to you explicitly in general or if they give it to you just with that specific problem. It calculates the partial derivatives, And then it sets up the integral by projecting onto the xy plane, whether it sets up the integral just as is with ChatGPT, or it walks you through the process of it with the partial derivatives, the normal vector, and the magnitude of the normal vector as in Copilot. And then they all convert to polar coordinates, transform the integral with respect to theta and r instead of x and y, and then uses some sort of numerical CAS system to evaluate the integral. So all of this makes sense from comparison. They all follow the same process, they all give the same steps basically, and they all give the similar explanations. But we're going to see if this actually makes sense for the problem. You might on your own be able to recall how to evaluate a surface integral, but in case you don't, we can use Wolfram Alpha for assistance. So if you type in surface integral into Wolfram Alpha, it will give you the definition with a formula here. So for a surface integral, for a scalar function f over a surface parameterized by u and v, the surface integral is given by this expression down here, and tu and tv are tangent vectors, and a cross b is the cross product. So we find the tangential vectors by calculating the partial derivatives of our function, and that represents the directions of the change in the surface with respect to, in this general equation here, u and v. All of the examples from the outputs that we were given also calculate those partial derivatives. The surface element, dA, is then computed through the magnitude of the cross product of those tangential vectors. So that's what this part is right here, and that is where the dA shows up in that equation. All three outputs end up matching all three model outputs end up matching that expression correctly. So all of the three model outputs do have the correct initial integral. They do have the correct converted integral once you convert to polar coordinates, and they arrive at that correct final integral with the correct bounds of integration. So basically, we have used our knowledge of surface integrals and a reminder from Wolfram Alpha to see if the general approach and steps are accurate for the different models, and to see if there are any potential errors in the equations or the steps or conversions. So since all of them have the correct integrals, conversions, and bounds, at this point, some of them or all three have an incorrect evaluation of the final integral. So we are going to figure out what that is. So we're going to go back to Wolfram Alpha and have it evaluate the final integral as to see if any of them actually have the correct value. We're going to use Wolfram Alpha to determine the accuracy of the three results that we have. So one way you can put the integration expression into Wolfram Alpha is as so. You can put it in multiple other ways. This matches what we have from all three outputs, and this gives us, through Wolfram Alpha, an accurate approximation of 268.61. So if we compare it to the three final answers from the three outputs, in this case, Copilot actually got it correct. But don't assume that that will always be the case. A good default is to assume that the calculations and evaluations are incorrect all the time, and then work to analyze them and confirm their accuracy. So in summary, large language models predict text and not compute results. They generate solutions that sound correct but may be mathematically flawed. Always verify the outputs. Never accept any responses from LLMs blindly, especially for complex problems that you encounter in calculus. Compare with CAS tools. Use Wolfram Alpha or other CAS tools to check for accuracy. And make sure to debug errors carefully. Assess the different models' outputs, check the steps, and identify any potential inconsistencies in reasoning. And remember, LLMs are great at providing explanations, and CAS tools are way more reliable for performing accurate calculations. That concludes our third and final lecture on AI and CAS. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your semester.